Greetings, Guardians of Dominion. Zeus here with another enlightening video. Yesterday, a game-changing feature, Totem Fusion, was introduced, and it's already shaking up the Titan meta. But which skills are truly worth your resources? Today, I'll break down my first round of tests, reveal the elemental and primal skills that showed real promise, and share insights that could save you from costly mistakes. Let's dive right in and see what this new system is really capable of. Before we dive in, I want to make one thing clear: this is just the beginning of my testing process. I only focused on one element today, fire, and didn't mix totems or combine elements. That means the results you see here don't necessarily reveal the absolute best skills overall. It's a starting point, not the final verdict. Eventually, we'll want to determine the best skill setups for each totem, but that takes time, and ideally, we don't want to duplicate skill choices across elements. So think of today's video as a testing log, a way to share my process and, hopefully, get the community involved to accelerate discovery. Here's how it works. The new totem mechanics allow you to equip one of 6 elemental skills and one of 5 primal skills. You can freely choose any combination, and today, I'll walk you through exactly how I approached this test, what I learned, and which skill combinations almost broke through. So let's begin. I started by choosing fire as my element and ran more than 200 battles focusing on that single element. The idea was to hold one constant, fire, and rotate skills to observe the effects. The first logical step. Test the default setup, 4 Fire Titans plus Hyperion on defense. And naturally, to counter fire, I used 4 Water Titans plus Araji on offense. It's important to avoid element disadvantage. You don't want to attack fire with earth or defend fire with fire. Water is the natural counter here. In the beginning, I was testing with skills on both totems, adding random skills to the water totem while also switching out elemental and primal skills on the fire totem. But after a few rounds, I had a realization: even when I completely removed the skills from the water totem, the water team was still winning every single battle. That's when things became a bit frustrating. I continued testing various combinations on the fire side, changing elemental and primal skills one by one, but no matter what I tried, fire kept losing. There was no noticeable difference, no breakthrough. The water team was just too strong, even with an empty totem. This made me think, maybe the true potential of this system isn't in single element totems, but in dual totem setups, like combining fire with light or dark, or using Clash of Worlds building bonuses. Still, I wasn't ready to give up. So I dug deeper. I went back and tested each of the 6 fire elemental skills, one by one, and paired each of them with all 5 primal skills. That's 30 battles in total. And that's where things got interesting. Out of all those combinations, 2 elemental skills stood out: Last Flash and Flame Dance. As for the primal skills, the best results came from Primal, Zeal and Call of the Elements. No, they didn't secure a win, but the fire team came close. These were the only setups where the outcome wasn't a clear, overwhelming loss. The margin was tight, and that's a sign we're getting closer to something worth building on. Now let's take a closer look at these 4 standout skills, and what makes them special. Let's take a quick look at the 2 elemental skills that stood out in my testing: Last Flash and Flame Dance. Last Flash is a powerful survival mechanic. When a Titan is about to die, it doesn't. Instead, it enters a rage mode for 17 seconds. During this time, its attack speed increases by 15%, its attacks become stronger, and it becomes completely invulnerable. It can't be affected by anything, and its health stays at 1. But once the effect ends, the Titan instantly dies. It only activates once per battle, but that window can be game-changing if timed well. Flame Dance is more straightforward. It summons a vortex of fire that damages all nearby enemies. It works similarly to the Fire Totem's basic ability, though the damage is lower. Still, it's a reliable burst that can add pressure, especially when paired with other damaging effects. So why did Last Flash and Flame Dance make a difference when others didn't? With Last Flash, the key was Moloch. Thanks to the effect, Moloch stayed on the battlefield much longer than usual. He entered his rage state instead of dying, and during those 17 seconds, he absorbed pressure and blocked incoming damage from the water totem. That delay gave the rest of the fire team a real chance to fight back. As for Flame Dance, the improvement came from totem damage output. This skill created a second fire vortex on top of the Fire Totem's basic ability, which meant that each time the totem activated, there were two overlapping vortexes dealing damage at once. That made the totem burst much more impactful than before, especially when it triggered early or during clustered moments. Now let's take a look at the primal skills that paired best with these two. Primal Zeal gives your titans a chance to regain energy every time they use their basic skill. At max level, it restores 255 energy, and it has a 60% activation chance. In testing, this helped key titans charge their ultimates faster. Call of Elements, on the other hand, is all about offensive scaling. It increases a titan's attack based on how much health it's missing. The lower their HP drops, the higher their attack gets, with a base buff of 14,625, plus 13% of their max HP missing. This skill synergized surprisingly well with Last Flash, because the Titan stays alive at 1 health, meaning the attack boost stays high while the Titan fights in rage mode. Together with the right elemental skills, these two primal effects brought the fire team close to victory, a big step forward compared to earlier setups. After that, I decided to change the defensive lineup. Instead of running 4 Fire Titans with Hyperion, I switched to 4 Fire Titans with Eden. At first, without any skills on the totem, the result was the same, the water team with Araji kept winning easily. But once I added Last Flash as the elemental skill and Call of Elements as the primal skill, things changed dramatically. Suddenly, the fire team started winning about 50% of the time, a major improvement compared to earlier tests where it had almost no chance. To push it further, I ran additional tests using 4 Light Titans and 4 Dark Titans as the attacking team, no skill combinations, no mixed setups, just pure light or dark lineups. Surprisingly, the fire team was able to win most of those battles, which wasn't the case in earlier trials. It's important to note that light and dark totems had no skills equipped, so this was a clean test to isolate fire's performance boost. Then I tried one final variation, I added Tenebris to the fire lineup. This made the results even more consistent. Light and dark titans, even in full teams, started losing to fire. So, for the fire team at the base level of testing, 2 elemental skills, Last Flash and Flame Dance, and 2 primal skills, Primal Zeal and Call of Elements, clearly stand out. The biggest game changer in all of this was definitely Last Flash. That said, I don't recommend rushing to upgrade these skills just yet. This video is just one step in a long process. I expect that once it's published, the comments section will fill up with more insights and results from the community. We'll gather more data, explore more setups, and confirm which combinations truly rise above. Until then, I recommend holding off on spending your resources. Let's work together as a community, test more thoroughly, and make smart choices once we know what really works. And that wraps up today's deep dive into Totem Fusion. Among all the combinations tested, Last Flash was the most impactful elemental skill, with Flame Dance showing solid potential as well. On the primal side, Primal Zeal and Call of Elements stood out, especially when combined with the right elemental effect. But this is just one phase of testing. There's still plenty to uncover, especially with other elements and dual totem setups. I'm sure many of you will bring your own findings to the table. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What worked for you? What didn't? Let's keep the testing going as a community. If this video helped you out, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Stay focused, keep testing, and as always, salute and friendship. Zeus out.